Commander Lisa Bennett stared through the massive observation window of Earth Defense Force headquarters, her eyes fixed on the strange ship that had appeared in orbit just hours ago. Its crystalline structure caught Earth's sunlight, creating rainbow patterns across the sky. After 15 years of service in the EDF, she had never seen anything like it. "Commander, they're requesting to dock," said Officer Steve Wright, his voice steady despite the tension in the control room. "They say they represent something called the Arcturian Confederation." Lisa took a deep breath. "Grant them permission. Alert Dr. Harris in research and development. He should be present for this." The alien ship's approach was graceful, almost dancing as it connected with the station's primary docking port. Lisa straightened her uniform and headed to the reception area, joined by Dr. Kevin Harris, whose tired eyes and disheveled appearance suggested another long night in the lab. "Any idea what they want?" Kevin asked, running a hand through his graying hair. "None," Lisa replied, "but they specifically mentioned your quantum consciousness research in their transmission." The docking door slid open with a soft hiss. The being that stepped through was tall and slender, with silvery skin that seemed to ripple like water. Its 4 arms moved in perfect harmony as it approached them, and its large, dark eyes studied them with unmistakable intelligence. "I am Ambassador Carax," it said in perfect English, its voice surprisingly melodious. "We have been monitoring your species for some time. Recent developments have forced us to make direct contact." Lisa stepped forward. "I'm Commander Bennett, and this is Dr. Harris. Welcome to Earth Station 1. Carax's expression shifted in a way that seemed troubled, though it was hard to read alien facial features. "I wish this meeting was under better circumstances. Your species has developed technology that breaks fundamental galactic laws." Kevin frowned. "Laws? We weren't aware of any galactic laws. We've never even had contact with alien life before today." "Ignorance of law does not excuse its violation," Carax said. "Your quantum consciousness transfer technology is particularly concerning. It breaks the natural order. Such technology is forbidden across all civilized space." Lisa felt her stomach tighten. The consciousness transfer technology had been Earth's greatest breakthrough, allowing human minds to be backed up and transferred in case of fatal accidents. It had already saved hundreds of lives in testing. "The technology is safe," Kevin argued. "We've done extensive testing." "Safety is not the concern," Carax interrupted. "The natural progression of species must be maintained. Your civilization has advanced too quickly, developed technologies that should be centuries beyond your reach." The meeting moved to a conference room, where Carax displayed holographic images of other worlds. These civilizations also developed too quickly. They had to be guided back to the proper path. Lisa noticed the ruins in the images. "You destroyed them." "We corrected them," Carax said softly, "for the greater good of galactic stability." Kevin stood up abruptly. "This is ridiculous. You can't just demand we abandon years of research because it doesn't fit your timeline." "Dr. Harris," Carax said, "your work in particular has drawn attention. The ability to transfer consciousness is a power that young species cannot be trusted with. The temptation for immortality." "It's not about immortality," Kevin interrupted. "It's about saving lives. Just last month, we saved a little girl who would have died from brain trauma. Her parents still have their daughter because of this technology." Lisa watched Carax's reaction carefully. The alien seemed genuinely troubled by their refusal to understand. "Commander Bennett," Carax said, "surely you see the bigger picture. One species cannot be allowed to disrupt the balance of galactic civilization." "What I see," Lisa replied, "is an advanced civilization trying to hold others back. That's not balance, it's control." The lights in the station suddenly flickered, and Officer Wright's voice came over the intercom. "Commander, we're detecting multiple ships entering the solar system. Large ships." Carax stood. "That would be the enforcement fleet. They will maintain position until our discussions are complete. We hope you will choose cooperation." Lisa exchanged glances with Kevin. They both knew what this meant. Earth's advancement had caught the attention of a powerful galactic civilization, and they weren't happy about it. "How long do we have to comply?" Lisa asked. "The Galactic Council will convene in 3 standard cycles, what you would call weeks. Until then, we strongly advise you to begin dismantling the prohibited technologies." After Carax left, Lisa and Kevin stood in silence, watching the alien ship depart. "We can't give up the tech," Kevin said finally. "It's already saved too many lives, and who knows what else they're trying to suppress." Lisa nodded slowly. "Get back to the lab. Copy everything. I need to contact Earth government. They need to know what we're facing." That night, as Lisa prepared her report, she looked out at the stars. They had always represented hope and possibility. Now they held a threat. But she knew one thing: humanity hadn't come this far by following other people's rules. She opened a secure channel to Earth's Defense Council. "This is Commander Bennett. We have a situation that requires immediate attention. Our technological development has attracted some unwanted attention, and we need to prepare for possible conflict. I'm sending my full report now, but the short version is this: we're not alone in the universe, and our new neighbors don't like how quickly we're advancing." As she sent the report, Lisa noticed a strange pattern in the starfield. The enforcement fleet was positioning itself in a perfect grid around Earth's orbit. They were being contained, like a troublesome child put in a playpen. "Officer Wright," she called out. "Yes, Commander." "Begin quiet evacuation of all non-essential personnel from the station, and get me a secure line to the Mars colony. I have a feeling we're going to need backup locations for our research facilities." The next few days would determine humanity's path forward. Lisa just hoped they were ready for the challenge ahead. As she watched Earth slowly rotate below, she realized that humanity's greatest test wasn't going to be about technology or power. It was going to be about the right to determine their own destiny. The stars that had once seemed so welcoming now watched like distant guards, but Lisa knew one thing: humanity had never been good at following arbitrary rules. If the galaxy wanted to enforce their laws, they would learn why humans had a reputation for breaking them. The massive holographic display in Earth's United Defense Chamber showed the growing number of alien vessels surrounding their planet. President Amanda Foster stood before the emergency assembly, her face grim as she addressed the gathered leaders. "The Arcturian Confederation has given us their final ultimatum," she announced. "We have 48 hours to begin dismantling our quantum consciousness technology and cease all related research, or they will take action." Captain Peter Mitchell of the EDF starcruiser Defiance watched from his position near the chamber's entrance. His ship had been one of the first to witness the arrival of the enforcement fleet, now numbering over 300 vessels. "And if we refuse?" asked one of the council members. "They weren't specific about their methods," President Foster replied. "But their history suggests they're willing to use force to maintain what they call technological balance." The chamber erupted in heated discussion. Some advocated immediate compliance to avoid conflict, while others insisted on standing firm. Captain Mitchell noticed Dr. Kevin Harris slip quietly into the chamber, carrying a data tablet. "If I may speak," Kevin said, his voice cutting through the chaos. The room fell silent. "We've discovered something interesting about our visitors. Their technology isn't as advanced as they want us to believe." He connected his tablet to the main display. "Their ships use conventional faster-than-light drives. Their weapons are standard plasma-based systems. What they do have is numbers and experience. But their technological superiority, it's mostly an illusion." President Foster leaned forward. "Explain." "They're not trying to protect the galaxy from dangerous technology," Kevin continued. "They're protecting their power. Our quantum consciousness tech is just the beginning. We've already identified several other breakthroughs that surpass their capabilities." Captain Mitchell stepped forward. "Permission to speak freely, Madam President." She nodded. "The Defiance has been running passive scans of their fleet. Dr. Harris is right. Their ships are powerful, but not unbeatable. More importantly, we've detected communications suggesting not all of their crew agree with this enforcement action. The chamber's atmosphere shifted. Fear began to give way to determination. "How many ships can we field?" asked the defense minister. 23 capital ships, 42 support vessels," Mitchell replied. "Not enough for a direct confrontation, but enough to protect our key installations if we're smart about it." President Foster stood silent for a long moment, weighing the options. "Dr. Harris, how many lives has your technology saved so far?" 812, he answered without hesitation, including 300 children who would have died from various accidents and illnesses. She nodded slowly. "And how many could it save in the future?" "Millions, maybe billions, once we perfect the system." The president turned to face the assembly. "Then we have our answer. Humanity didn't climb out of the caves by letting others dictate our limitations. We won't start now." She pressed a button on her console, and the chamber's security protocols activated, ensuring complete privacy. "Captain Mitchell, begin coordinating with Earth's defense fleet. I want our ships positioned to protect our major research facilities." "Yes, Madam President." "Dr. Harris, how quickly can we relocate your research?" Kevin checked his tablet. "We already started after the first warning. Critical data and equipment are being moved to secure facilities on Mars and beneath the lunar surface." "Good." She turned to address the full assembly. "Make no mistake, this will be difficult. We're facing an enemy with vast experience and resources, but we have something they don't: the desire to grow, to push boundaries, to become more than we are." Outside the chamber's windows, the evening sky sparkled with unusual lights, the Arcturian enforcement fleet moving into attack positions. Captain Mitchell's communicator buzzed with a message from his ship. "Madam President," he called out, "the Defiance is reporting movement in the enemy fleet. They're tightening their formation." "They're not waiting for their deadline," Kevin observed. "No," President Foster agreed. "They never intended to. The ultimatum was just for show." She activated the global defense network with a single command: "All ships to battle stations. This is not a drill." The chamber's displays lit up with activity as Earth's military forces mobilized. Cities across the planet activated their shield systems, another technology the Arcturians had claimed was beyond humanity's proper development stage. "Captain Mitchell," the president said, "you have command of the defense fleet. Remember, we don't need to win, we just need to show them we won't be easily subdued." Peter nodded and headed for the exit. As he reached the door, he heard Dr. Harris call out, "Captain, one more thing." Kevin rushed over and handed him a small device. "If things get bad up there, use this. It's a quantum field generator, small scale, but it might give you an edge. They won't be expecting it." The first shots were fired just as Mitchell reached his ship. The Arcturian fleet had launched what they called a pacification pulse, designed to disable Earth's defensive systems. But humanity's quantum-based shields held firm, another surprise for their would-be controllers. From the bridge of the Defiance, Mitchell watched Earth's fleet move into defensive positions. They were outnumbered, but not outmatched. Not anymore. "All ships, this is Captain Mitchell," he broadcast to the fleet. "Remember your training. Remember what we're fighting for. They think they can control humanity's destiny. Let's show them how wrong they are." The battle for Earth's technological freedom was about to begin. In orbit above their homeworld, humanity's ships faced an enemy that sought not to destroy them, but to limit them, to keep them confined within boundaries set by others. As the first Arcturian ships moved to engage, Mitchell held Dr. Harris' device in his hand. They thought they knew humanity's capabilities. They thought they could predict and control human development. They were about to learn a very important lesson about human nature. "All ships," he commanded, "execute Defense Pattern Alpha. Show them what humanity can really do." The space around Earth lit up with weapons fire, marking the beginning of a conflict that would change the galaxy forever. Humanity's first interstellar war had begun. not over territory or resources, but over the fundamental right to grow and develop without limitation. The red dust of Mars swirled outside the hidden facilities windows as Dr. Michelle Clark made final adjustments to the quantum consciousness transfer array. After the initial attacks on Earth, she and her team had escaped to this underground base, continuing their work away from the Arcturians' watchful eyes. Status report. She called out to her assistant, Paul Baker, who was monitoring the power systems. All systems green, Paul replied. The quantum field is stable, and we're completely masked from orbital scans. Lieutenant John Martinez entered the control room, still wearing his combat armor. His unit had just returned from defending another research outpost from Arcturian probes. We lost 2 more facilities on Earth, he reported, but we managed to evacuate all personnel and equipment before they hit. Michelle nodded grimly. Any word from the colonies? Europa base is holding strong. The ice cover helps hide their operations. Titan Station has gone dark, standard protocol when detection ships are nearby. The door slid open again, and a tall, willowy figure entered. Unlike the Arcturians, this alien had blue-tinted skin and moved with an almost liquid grace. Zaril, a scientist from the Proxima system, had defected to help humanity after witnessing the Arcturian suppression tactics firsthand. Your quantum field modifications are working perfectly, Zaril said, examining the readouts. My people were close to this breakthrough before the Arcturians forced us to abandon the research. Seeing it working, it gives me hope. Michelle placed a hand on the alien scientist's shoulder. We'll help your people reclaim their technology once this is over. The Arcturians can't control everyone forever. The facility's alert system suddenly flashed red. Paul rushed to check the sensors. Multiple ships entering Mars orbit. They're using new scanning patterns. They're learning, John said, moving to the tactical display. Each time we hide from them, they adapt their search methods. Michelle quickly initiated the facility's deepest stealth protocols. The lights dimmed as power was diverted to the quantum masking fields. Above them, through layers of Martian rock, Arcturian ships prowled the sky, searching for signs of forbidden technology. Dr. Clark, Zaril said quietly, there's something you need to see. The alien scientist connected a data crystal to the main display. These are records from my homeworld's ancient archives. You're not the first species to develop quantum consciousness technology. There were others, long ago. The screen filled with images of civilizations that had reached similar technological levels. Some had developed even further, discovering principles that made the Arcturians' technology look primitive. What happened to them? John asked, though his tone suggested he already knew the answer. The same thing the Arcturians are trying to do to Earth, Zaril replied. They were forced to regress. Those who refused were removed from the galaxy's history. Paul looked up from his console. But why? If these technologies are possible, if they can help people, why stop their development? Control, Michelle said, understanding dawning in her eyes. A species that can transfer consciousness, that can preserve their knowledge and experience indefinitely. They'd be harder to control. They could build on their achievements without losing ground to time and death. Zaril nodded. The Arcturian Confederation maintains power by keeping other species within certain technological boundaries. They don't want equals. They want subjects. The facility shook slightly as an Arcturian ship passed low overhead. Everyone held their breath. But the quantum masking field held. The secret base remained undetected. John checked his tactical display again. We've got a message from the Resistance Network. The lunar bases are reporting success with the new quantum shield modifications. The Arcturians can't break through. And the consciousness transfers, Michelle asked. Working perfectly. We saved another 30 people this week alone. Mostly soldiers who would have died defending our outposts. Michelle turned to her research station and pulled up the latest test results. We're not just preserving lives now. The quantum network is allowing us to share knowledge and experience instantly across the resistance. Every discovery, every tactical lesson, every breakthrough. It all becomes part of our shared knowledge base. The very thing the Arcturians fear most, Zaril observed. A soft chime indicated an incoming transmission from one of the hidden Earth facilities. Commander Lisa Bennett's face appeared on the screen, looking tired but determined. "Dr. Clark, we found something in the Antarctic research base. Ancient technology, buried in the ice. It matches some of the quantum principles you've been working with." Michelle leaned forward. Earth had quantum tech before. "Not Earth," Lisa replied. "Whatever civilization left this, they weren't human. But they were fighting the same battle we are now. And they left us tools to help." The implications were staggering. Humanity wasn't just developing forbidden technology. They were rediscovering principles that had been suppressed across the galaxy for millennia. How many other species are out there? Paul wondered aloud. How many others are secretly working to break free from these restrictions? "We're about to find out," John said, checking a new message. "Our deep space probes have detected signals. Other civilizations are watching our resistance. Some are starting to question the Arcturians' authority." Michelle looked around the room at her team, human and alien alike, all working together to break free from artificially imposed limitations. "Then we need to show them it's possible. We need to prove that species can be trusted with advanced technology. We need to win," Zaril added simply. The facility shook again as another search ship passed overhead, but no one flinched this time. In hidden bases across the solar system, humanity continued its work, developing technologies that would change the galaxy. The Arcturians had wanted to contain human advancement. Instead, they had pushed humanity to develop faster, to reach further, to connect with others who shared their dream of unrestricted progress. As Michelle reviewed the latest test results, she smiled. The quantum consciousness network was growing stronger every day, linking minds and preserving knowledge in ways the Arcturians had never imagined possible. They had tried to suppress human development, but they had forgotten one crucial fact. Humans had always done their best work when someone told them something was impossible. The colony on Titan shuddered as another Arcturian peacekeeping blast struck its quantum shields. Commander Lisa Bennett watched from the control center as golden energy rippled across the protective barrier, dispersing the attack harmlessly into space. "Their weapons are getting stronger," said Officer Steve Wright, monitoring the shield readings. "But they still can't break through the quantum field." Lisa nodded. In the 3 months since the Arcturians had begun their peaceful enforcement campaign, humanity had lost 4 outer colonies, but they had also learned, adapted, and grown stronger. "Commander," a young technician called out, "we're picking up a transmission from Dr. Harris. He's found something in those ancient ruins." The main screen activated, showing Kevin Harris standing in what appeared to be a vast underground chamber. Behind him, strange symbols glowed on metallic walls. "Lisa, you need to see this," Kevin said, his voice excited despite his exhaustion. "These aren't just ruins, it's a library. The species that came before us, they left records of everything, including why the Arcturians really want to stop our development." He turned his camera to show the walls more clearly. "They're not protecting the galaxy from dangerous technology. They're protecting their own power. The quantum consciousness technology we developed, it's the key to accessing a level of reality they've been hiding from everyone." "What do you mean?" Lisa asked. "The consciousness transfer isn't just about saving lives. When minds connect through the quantum network, they can perceive and interact with higher dimensions. The Arcturians have been using this ability for millennia, while preventing other species from discovering it." The control room fell silent as the implications sank in. Their forbidden technology wasn't just advanced, it was revolutionary. Suddenly, alarms blared across the colony. "Multiple ships dropping out of FTL," Steve reported. "Largest fleet we've seen yet." The main viewer showed dozens of Arcturian vessels appearing around Titan. But something was different about these ships. They moved more aggressively, more purposefully than the previous peacekeeping forces. This isn't an enforcement action, Lisa realized. This is an invasion. The first attacks hit harder than anything they'd seen before. The quantum shields held, but the entire colony shook with the impact. "Get me Earth Command," Lisa ordered. As she waited for the connection, she watched the Arcturian ships take up attack positions. President Foster's face appeared on the screen. "We're seeing it, Commander. They're hitting all our colonies simultaneously. This is their endgame." Dr. Harris found something in the ruins, Lisa reported quickly. "The quantum technology. It's more important than we thought. The Arcturians have been using it themselves while keeping everyone else from discovering it. Can we use this information?" Before Lisa could answer, Dr. Michelle Clark burst into the transmission. "Madam President, Commander, we just completed a successful test of the enhanced quantum network. We can do more than just transfer consciousness now. We can link minds across the entire solar system. Is it safe?" the President asked. "Safer than letting the Arcturians win," Michelle replied. "The ruins Dr. Harris found confirm our theories. When enough minds link through the quantum network, they can perceive and affect higher dimensions of space-time. That's what the Arcturians have been hiding. The true potential of consciousness itself." Another blast rocked the colony. "Shields at 60%, Steve called out. Lisa made a quick decision. "Dr. Clark, how many people can you connect?" "Everyone with a quantum implant. About 30% of our population now. Enough to make a difference." "Do it," President Foster ordered. "Link everyone who's willing. Show these bullies what humanity can really do." Michelle nodded and began the activation sequence. Across the solar system, in colonies and bases, and hidden facilities, humans who had received quantum consciousness implants felt the connection forming. Lisa gasped as her mind expanded, touching others across vast distances. She could feel the crew around her, then the whole colony, then bases across the solar system. And with that connection came understanding, not just of the technology, but of reality itself. "They're charging weapons," Steve reported, his voice seeming to come from both his mouth and his mind simultaneously. "Let them," Lisa said, a smile forming on her face. Through the quantum network, she could see the higher dimensional structure of space around them. The Arcturian weapons weren't just energy beams, they were tears in the fabric of space-time itself. And now, humanity could see how to mend those tears. The next blast from the Arcturian fleet simply vanished, absorbed into quantum fields that existed in dimensions their attackers hadn't expected humans to access. Impossible. The Arcturian commander's transmission boomed across all frequencies. "You cannot have mastered dimensional manipulation so quickly." "You shouldn't have tried to keep us down," Lisa replied calmly. Through the network, she could feel millions of human minds working together, understanding and controlling aspects of reality that had been hidden from them. Dr. Harris's voice came through the network. "The ruins contain their tactical databases. They've used these same tricks to suppress dozens of species, but they've never faced a united resistance before." The Arcturian ships launched another barrage. This time, their weapons didn't just disappear, they were redirected, creating a stunning display of light and energy that harmlessly encircled Titan. "Last chance," Lisa broadcast to the enemy fleet. "Withdraw and recognize our right to develop our own technology, or face the consequences of your actions." The response was another attack. But now, with humanity's combined consciousness working through the quantum network, the Arcturian weapons seemed almost primitive. "They can't comprehend it." Michelle's thoughts echoed through the network. "They've spent so long suppressing others. They've stopped advancing themselves." Lisa looked out at the enemy fleet, but she was seeing them through more than just her eyes now. Through the quantum network, through the combined perception of millions of linked human minds, she could see the truth. The Arcturians were afraid. Not of humanity's technology, but of what it represented. True freedom to grow, to learn, to become something more. The breaking point had arrived. But it wasn't humanity that was breaking. It was the Arcturians' hold on galactic civilization. And through the quantum network, Lisa could feel that this was just the beginning. Operation Starburst began at dawn, Earth time. Captain Peter Mitchell stood on the bridge of the Defiance, watching as hundreds of human ships emerged from quantum space around the Arcturian home system. Through the enhanced consciousness network, he could feel the presence of every crew member, every ship, all working together with perfect coordination. "They never expected us to find their homeworld," he said softly. "They never thought we'd advance this far." The Arcturian defense fleet scrambled to respond, but they were too slow. Humanity had learned to move through dimensions their oppressors had forgotten existed. Dr. Michelle Clark's voice echoed through the quantum network. "Remember, this isn't about revenge. We're here to free them from their own limitations." The human fleet moved in perfect formation, their quantum shields glowing with power drawn from multiple dimensions of space. On their sensors, they could see other alien ships appearing. Vessels from species that had also broken free from Arcturian control, joining humanity's push for freedom. Lisa Bennett's consciousness touched Peter's through the network. "The council chamber is in the central citadel. That's where we'll find the proof we need." The Arcturian ships fired their dimensional weapons, but now these attacks seemed almost childish. Humanity had learned to see reality as it truly was, to understand space and time in ways their opponents had deliberately forgotten. "Begin transmission," Peter ordered. Through every communication channel, in every language, the truth began to flow. The ancient records, the hidden history, the deliberate suppression of advancement. Everything the Arcturian leadership had kept secret for millennia. On the surface of the Arcturian homeworld, millions of citizens watched in shock as their leaders' deceptions were exposed. The Quantum Consciousness Network reached out, offering them a choice: continue living under artificial limitations, or embrace true freedom of development. "They're powering up their planetary defenses," Officer Wright reported, both through voice and thought. Peter smiled. "Let them. They still don't understand what we've become." The Arcturian weapons fired, a massive burst of energy that would have destroyed their fleet 3 months ago. Now, through their linked consciousness, humanity simply shifted the energy into another dimension, transforming it into a beautiful display of light. From her position on Titan Base, Dr. Kevin Harris added his thoughts to the network. "Look at their technology. It's been the same for thousands of years. They stopped growing because they were afraid of change." Across the Arcturian system, ships from other liberated species were arriving. The Proxians, led by Zarel. The Centaurians, who had broken free a month ago. The Syrians, who had hidden their own quantum technology for centuries. "This is the end of their control," President Foster's thoughts echoed through the network. But not through violence. Through truth. The Arcturian Council's chamber appeared on their screens. The leaders, tall and silvery, stood in shock as their defensive systems failed to stop the human advance. "How?" one of them demanded. "How did you advance so quickly?" "Because you tried to stop us," Lisa's voice rang out, both through speakers and the quantum field. "Humanity has never dealt well with being told what we can't do." Peter directed his ships to take up positions around the citadel. Not to attack, but to demonstrate that the old power structure had fallen. Through the quantum network, he could feel the minds of ordinary Arcturians beginning to wake up, to question, to wonder. Their own suppressed quantum technology was stirring, responding to the combined consciousness of humanity and their allies. "Your choice is simple," President Foster broadcast to the Council. "Join us in true advancement, or step aside for those who will. The galaxy doesn't need guardians. It needs explorers, innovators, dreamers." The response came not from the Council, but from the Arcturian people. Through the quantum field, millions of minds reached out, hungry for the freedom they'd been denied. The Council's power, built on suppression and fear, began to crumble. Dr. Clark's consciousness touched them all. The network is expanding. They're joining voluntarily. Peter watched as the Arcturian ships powered down their weapons. Across their homeworld, people were awakening to new possibilities. The quantum consciousness network grew stronger as more minds joined, each bringing their own unique perspective to the shared experience. "Begin the integration protocols," he ordered. "Help them understand what they've been missing." Through the network, he could feel the change spreading across the galaxy. Species that had been kept apart, limited and controlled, were connecting for the first time. The barriers weren't just falling. They were being transformed into bridges. Lisa's thoughts reached him from Titan. The ancient ruins predicted this. Not just humanity breaking free, but all species joining together. This was always meant to be our path. The revolution wasn't won with weapons or violence, but with truth and connection. As the Arcturian people joined the quantum network, their own suppressed abilities began to resurface. They remembered what their leaders had forced them to forget: the joy of unrestricted growth, of true advancement. "We're receiving signals from across the galaxy," Officer Wright reported. "Other species are rising up. The control system is falling everywhere." Peter looked out at the Arcturian homeworld, now peaceful as its people embraced their new freedom. "Send the message to all ships. Operation Starburst is complete. The galaxy is open." Through the quantum network, he could feel the future taking shape. Not a future of restrictions and control, but one of unlimited potential. Humanity had broken the rules, but in doing so, they had freed everyone to write new ones together. The war beyond the stars was over. The revolution of consciousness had begun. And in the quantum network that now spanned the galaxy, countless minds looked toward tomorrow with hope, ready to discover what they could truly become when no one told them they couldn't.